Welcome back to Peace Up and Tarot. This reading is for Capricorn, Sun, Moon or Rising. And Capricorn, this is your weekly intuitive tarot reading for April 20th to the 26th. This week we have the Align Your Life Oracle card. We have the Yamas Yogic Life card behind that. We have the Four of Swords, the Six of Wands, Energy of Judgment, Four of Cups, the Nine of Wands, and the Three of Swords. So this week we've definitely got a theme of you waking up to the things that are no longer fulfilling in your life, continuously shedding those layers. I think a lot of us are going through that at the moment. I've been saying it every week. Sorry if it sounds like I'm repeating it, but we have this time to really do the inner work, do the inner inquiry, and I think that a lot of us are realizing the things that we might need to walk away from, the things that have kept us small and all of that sort of thing. Got the Nine of Wands here. I feel like whatever this is, it's probably been ready to complete for some time, and you're being asked to give that a nudge forward this week. We see maybe some hurt, some pain, but rest, recovery, and ultimately victory from the situation. And what it's going to give you the opportunity for, Capricorn, is to find a greater sense of alignment in your life, to now attract in people, circumstances, situations, events that are way more aligned with your life purpose, with who you truly are at a soul level. So before we go to the tarot, we'll go to the oracle cards here. So we do have Align Your Life. I'll read that one out in a moment. And we have the Yamas Yogic Life card. Yamas is the 8 limbs of yoga, the different stages. So it says that things are really coming together with you in terms of cultivating your kindness, your compassion, your generosity, your ability to speak truth, and all of the different 8 limbs of yoga. And it also talks about continuously shedding what doesn't serve you anymore so that you can really blossom into your higher self. So that's the energy of judgment, to continuously rise above things that keep you small, keep you constricted. So that's a message for you this week about that, to keep doing the work, keep peeling the onion, metaphorically, to reveal, that jewel, that diamond within. And align your life. Now it's time to really focus on the things that are in alignment with where you want to head in your life, in alignment with your truth. So I'll just read that one out before we go to the tarot cards. What is not aligned or needs to change? What in your life is no longer in alignment with who you truly are? We're cyclic beings in a constant state of change, of evolution and growth. Change is one of the only certainties of life. When you resist your cyclic nature, you resist life and feel stuck. Many of us have learned to be who the world wants us to be, but there comes a time when it is harder to hold on to this facade than it is to embrace who we truly are, to surrender to how we have changed and align your life to that way of being. If you pull this card, you are being called to let go of who you once were, all the things that you once defined yourself by, the job, the relationship, the mask you wore, and to embrace who you truly are now. Yep, that's very fitting, Capricorn. That's what I'm, seeing in here with this Four of Cups as a starting point. I feel like at this time, so many of us are having that spotlight held on the things that are no longer fulfilling for us, or have held us stuck, or have kept us small, or are not in alignment with us. With this Four of Cups energy, we see you maybe in the recent past or coming into this now, a feeling of maybe the situations that you thought you had a certain amount of fulfillment and happiness with, you're now looking at them more closely and realizing, it's actually not it. And it could be your relationship. A lot of you might be self-isolated with the person that you thought was, your soulmate, and realizing that actually they really trigger you, or they're not able to meet you on the full emotional levels that you really require at the moment when we're going through this crisis. For some of you, it could be the fact that you've, had to step out of your work or job because of the situation in the world, and now reflecting on it, you're like, that's just not what I want to do in life. In life, that's not my calling. That's not my purpose. So you're being called to, to have that wake up call to whatever it is that is no longer serving you in your life, and to shed or release or transform it if you are able to. So I feel like there's the energy at the moment of you, really retreating your energy from it, really turning within and contemplating your next moves. So I really feel that you're ready to manifest something new in your life. We've got all these references to threes in this reading subtly in the background. And 3 is a number of creation, of manifestation. So I think it's time to release what's no longer serving, and then to put something in its place that is a lot more meaningful for you. With the judgment energy here, it could be quite a big sort of wake up or awakening that you're going through. Maybe you haven't really had the time to consider the big themes in your life until now, when you've got this time on your hands. You're seeing things through a completely different lens. Maybe you thought you were really happy in your work or relationship, or whatever the area is for you guys, because it's a general reading. But now you're actually seeing, well, I think that might have kept me stuck, kept me small, kept me constricted, kept me confined. And I really want to rise above these challenges and really live my best life. So that's the energy of judgment. We're waking up, seeing things clearly. There is a sense between judgment and the Four of Cups of a little bit of divine intervention, the universe saying it's really time now to address this, and you'll be giving a bit of the Four of Cups is like the divine nudge, and then the judgment's like the now I'm going to get the trumpet out and really call your attention. So maybe you've had kind of an intuition leading up to this that maybe something, it could be better, or it's not quite right for you, the situation. And then, this week, you're really getting the full blast. The angel's getting the trumpet out to really get in your ear, so that, it's got your full attention on the situation. It's really asking you to transform it. Judgment can be the energy of second chances. Are you going to give the situation a second chance? If so, how can you approach it differently? It can be also the card of forgiveness. Is there anything you need to forgive and forget if you're going to let go of the situation? Are you harboring any resent or anger or resistance? So, it's all about, rising up now. You might feel quite vulnerable as you start to shed the situation. In the Oracle card, we heard about the fact that the towers in our lives, the relationships, the jobs, and all these kinds of things, they actually can start to form a part of our identity. And when it's taken away from us, we can go through that little crisis of, well, who am I? And, I feel stripped bare, I feel naked, I feel vulnerable. I can totally relate to that. I at one stage in my life, I had quite a sort of an important job at the time. I thought it was important. And then I took 6 months out to travel to India. And I remember, during the first couple of months of that trip, feeling like I didn't know who I was, and kind of feeling a bit insecure in myself, because I thought behind this identity of this job where I help people and guide people and, do something important in the world, I didn't really feel that I had those qualities within myself when it was taken away. So that's how you might feel, whether it's a relationship or a job. In our relationships, it can be that we're outsourcing things to our partners, our emotional stability, security, financial resources, all those sorts of things. It's now time to consider how you can find that in yourself and become whole. These people here are feeling vulnerable because they have left something, they've released something. So I've got 9 of Wands here too, guys, and I feel like, this is that energy of there is a completion that could be coming for you, but it's kind of like you're just on the threshold of it now, and it sort of depends what the outcome of this judgment energy is. But either way, the 9 of Wands is kind of a card of you might have been sort of swimming against the current for a while, having to really push in a situation with resistance and persistence. So that's why we kind of want to bring things to a head, so that we can get back into the flow, so we can move with the current of the universal energies rather than against it. But this warrior here might have a few battle scars, but he's still got enough energy. He's got fuel in the tank to see this through. That's what I'm seeing here. So potentially a completion as well, aligned to the situation. Oh, I did not realise that 3 of Swords came out with the 6 of Pentacles. So that's a surprise for me as well. I was going to read these two together, but now I've got the 6 of Pentacles in the mix as well. Yeah, so look, there could be, like I said, a completion, or maybe it's just through the realisation of the situation, through the judgment energy, that there could be some pain or some hurts to process. The 3 of Swords can be the sorrow, the despair, the heartbreak, that kind of energy. However, even though you might be feeling like you're purging, having a big cry release, or whatever's going on for you, that is the first step of the healing process. And, you know, as soon as you kind of go through that purge, that's when you can really start to regenerate, restore, and, you know, regather your energy. So we've got the Four of Swords as well, which, as you can see here, links to the Three of Swords. It's like, okay, so after you've done the initial processing of the hurt, then it's time to rest. Then it's time to reformulate a new battle plan. That's why there's a sword here underneath the warrior. And it's almost like the Ace of Swords here. So it's like if you can take some time out to reflect on the situation, that's when you might have seek the mental clarity. That's when you get the breakthrough. That's when you get the new ideas, because swords is the suit of the intellect. So you might be doing some, connecting the dots, using your hindsight to see how the situation has led you to this moment, how you have, gotten learning out of that, and how that might guide you into the next chapter of your life. And ultimately, this process of releasing the situation or waking up to what's truly happening, waking up to the fact that it wasn't fulfilling you, it's really about bringing yourself into a greater sense of balance now. It's about re-establishing that, balance in those universal scales. You may have been in a situation that was out of balance, or that you felt that you had to be the giver, the giver in that situation, or overgiver, maybe people pleaser, whatever it is for you. Whereas now you are shifting your energy and you're releasing this, so you can get into a position where you can receive again, but not just moving into receiver mode, but attract situations into your life where it's an equal balance of give and take, give and receive. So that's what I see here in that Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles, 6 is the number of harmony, of growth, of peace, of healing. So that's what you're moving into, a much more greater sense of stability. Just also noticing that there's 4. We've got 2 number 6s and 2 number 4s in this reading. So, 4 is the number of like stability and foundation. So, you're actually working on your foundation at the moment. You're moving into a time where you can achieve greater sense of stability in your life, and that comes through, through healing, through releasing what's no longer in alignment with you, so that then you can get to that kind of more peaceful, harmonious time. So, very interesting energies here. And I really feel that, you're going to come out of this victorious. I mean, the Six of Wands is all about sense of victory, sense of success, achievement, but it comes after this person here has ridden out of a darker time. It's kind of like the next step for these people here. The Six of Wands, also talks about the fact that you're coming out of this with your head held high, with a new found sense of esteem and confidence. Other people might start noticing shifts and changes in you and really sort of commenting on that. And, you'll notice in the Six of Wands here, this person here is grasping that Ace of Wands. So I really feel that now you're willing to take the action that you need to take in order to move your life forward for the better, in order to seek a greater sense of alignment in the space that you've cleared by either releasing a situation or waking up to the fact that the situation that you're in is no longer fulfilling for you. Once you have that awakening, once you have that realization, that's when you can start to take the action you need to move forward and to, really start to work with aligning your situation and the things that you attract into your life with your higher purpose. So I love that, guys. It is definitely all heading in the right direction, but of course we have to make sure that we hear the warnings. It's not really a warning, but hear the awakening and really take the action that might be required. Okay, Capricorn, I'm just going to draw a keyword card for you to end out the reading. Got these little cards here, so I'll just give them a little bit of a shuffle, and then I choose one unless one flies out. We've had that happen a couple of times today. Oh, well, here we go. Simplicity. I've had that one come out for the second time this week as well. And Grace at the bottom. I actually think the exact same cards came out for another sign. So it is about getting back to basics at the moment. Some of us are not able to access the normal things that we do in our life. So just a reminder to embrace the simplicity, embrace little things, and use this space to really reconnect with yourself. And grace, even though it might be difficult sort of, waking up to a fact that something in your life isn't working for you, this is an act of grace, having these, divine nudges, because then we have the opportunity to then remove ourselves from that situation or change it in a way so that we can come into that greater sense of alignment and live a life that's much more on purpose. So just going through life with that sense of simplicity and the ease and grace this week to understand that everything works out for a reason. Okay, Capricorn, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Do keep in mind it's a general reading, so it won't be for every one of you guys. Feel free to leave me a comment because I always love to know how it's resonating and playing out in your daily life. And I'll see you back here next week for another reading.